Hey there, YouTubers. Tonight I'd like to talk about more issues we tend to encounter and the barriers that hinder and impede our effort on the way to achieve and attain success. So I suppose I am sitting right at the crossroads of my own lifetime, similar to most folks, to most folks, to most of you folks here who are listening and watching, who you know that who have reached their late or middle or mid 20s, where you just you know either graduated or dropped out from unis, from colleges, and soon you find yourself in a somewhat annoying and difficult situation where you don't know what you should do, what you should do with your lives, or where you belong. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, it's called the quarterly life crisis. Excuse me. So I can't help but to start to think of what's been hindering and impeding our effort to get things done. So what God has to do with all those failures and success, and is there any sort of a standard or benchmark to gauge how far we have to go in order to reach that specific particular target or objective? And yes, I suppose that's where 10x rule became extremely handy. Since one of the Uncle Grant Cardone, he mentioned about one of the keys to attain success is to, first of all, know your target, know what you want, know what you need, know thyself and thy enemy. Knowing yourself merely produces half of the victory. Knowing thy enemies, knowing both of yourself and thy enemies will maximize your chance of success. So yes, the enemies I am talking about here is the barrier that's been impeding or hindering our effort to get something specific, something specifically tempting, promising, done. So yes, like Uncle Grant Cardone has mentioned, we need to measure how much we need to go, how much amount of effort and time we need to invest onto the overall progress, processes, team building, self and personal and business development, etc. So I consider a deficiency of motivation one of the most critical and intimidating barriers against personal and business development and attainment of goals and objectives. Since yes, I don't know about others, but yes, I'd like to share one of my experiences with with the genesis of my own self motivation while I was trying to stretch my extreme length, trying to get a certain workbook done, for one of my prestigious clients. So so yes, so right, it actually it is actually still happening as far as I know, because the project has not yet been completed, since I failed to focus entirely on the completion of these projects I have to prioritize on completing. So, while I was typing using Microsoft Word, I just listened to to YouTube, to some audiobooks in the background, and let my mind wander and wander, wonder and wonder, that sort of thing. Yes, and I have been, I got haunted by all those doubts, disbelief, or should I say, Satan's deception, telling me that I couldn't get this done, I couldn't get that done in time, and then somehow that could make me slide right into more troubles, issues, problems. Yes, also similar to my to my previous video, I also mentioned about how Satan, how exactly Satan uses his tactics, strategies to deceive you into believing something, especially a theory that can easily get yourself trapped, snared, and convinced that you are not worthy of someone or something. And yes, that's definitely another barrier, and because due to the fact that every human individual has the sinful nature of being self-righteous, mean, and self-concerning. So especially that can best manifest as a multitude of people, especially entrepreneurs or just ordinary people. They will first of all prioritize on making considerations about how to profit, how to benefit themselves, and well, it is just human nature. It just belongs to the categories of humanly sinful nature, that we fall victims of self-righteousness, self-concerns, and etc. Those types of things. So yeah, so especially nowadays, it's extremely hard to get to convince someone to join your team as part of the entrepreneurial, as part of the collectively entrepreneurial team you need to attain your own and business entity's success. So yeah, and yes, your own self motivation will diminish and dissipate over time if you if you if you happen to take your time trying to finalize a certain task or a certain project or a certain set of projects. So yeah, probably that can happen between a particular duration and another instant, another instance. Forgive my poor grammar here. So yeah, well, if you ask me how we can overcome those, well, there are one possible solutions to overcome the problems of deficiency in self-motivation is to get something done as quickly as possible. Minimize the duration of worrying, of concerning about things and people, like Uncle Grant Cardone has mentioned on his book series, 10x rules. So successful people, the approach and timeline differentiate successful people from unsuccessful people when it comes to tackling tasks, projects, and issues and hazards that could potentially occur within a team or a decision maker's brain. So yeah, successful people just get those things done as quickly as possible, and in the meantime, avoid lowering the overall quality. Although it can sound some self-contradicting, we can still achieve that with an ample amount of experiences and a highly efficient, highly organized team. Since the teamwork can usually minimize chances of errors and flaws, all we need to do is to find the right people, assign them to their rightful, to their most adequate roles, positions, and localities. Yeah. So yes. So yes, even myself, I do not have all the answers, unfortunately. So I suppose we will just have to, keep going, keep pushing ahead, and on the other hand, keep learning, and never cease to, put trust in the Lord. And always try to fulfill our missions and potential that God has assigned us to accomplish. So yeah, I suppose that's all I can say for tonight about how to overcome barriers that occur during our lifetimes. This lifetime, of course. Perhaps there will be still some barriers after we perish. So, but regardless, thanks again for watching and listening. Stay tuned, stay blessed, stay faithful. I shall see you on the next video on YouTube. Bye bye.